Hello, Miss Polari's Speech Room. We are on page 23 and we are on the third cure. We've talked about cure number 1, which is what? A part of all you earn is yours to keep. So we've learned that you live on 90% of your income and 10% of your income you always, or sometimes, always save. That is the foundation of the Secret to Wealth, according to the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. And remember, I chose this book because number 1, it's interesting. It's set in Babylonian times and 3,000 to 4,000 years ago or more, who knows. But it is rich in vocabulary. And when you finish reading it, you might just be wealthy. At least they'll give you the secrets to being wealthy. So I figure if I'm going to teach you something, how about teaching you something that you can actually use and practice? And one day you'll thank me. Okay, here we go. So we're on page 23, the third cure. I'm just going to read the third cure and talk about that. There may be some vocabulary words that we'll discuss. Okay, so the third cure is, drum roll please, make thy gold multiply. What's the third cure? Make thy gold multiply. What does that mean? Make thy gold multiply. What does it mean? What do you think that means? Just think about that question right for a minute. Think about it. I'm going to read and then I'm going to go back to that. Just think about what does it mean to make thy gold multiply? Okay. Behold, thy lean purse is fattening, which means it's getting bigger and bigger. You want your wallet, your finances to get bigger and bigger. Thou hast disciplined thyself to leave therein 1/10 of all thou earnest. So, I already told you. Oh, by the way, what is to discipline? Discipline. We all have to have discipline, right? Is a routine, is a regimen of doing something that it becomes a habit, right? So he already said that thou hast disciplined thyself to leave therein 1/10 of all thy earns. That means you save 10% of all you earn. Thou hast controlled thy expenditures to protect thy growing treasures. So number 2, it even says is you make a budget. So the second cure is to have a budget. And when you make a budget, you control what you spend. Okay, so that's what it means to control thy expenditures. Expenditures means you're spending, right? Next, we will consider means to put thy treasure to labor and to increase. Now we're going to take thy money, the money that we have, that we've earned, and we're going to make it multiply, which means put it to work and have it increase, okay? Gold in a purse is gratifying. To own and satisfy a miserly soul, but earns nothing. So let's listen to what that said. Gold, basically having money in your purse. You find pleasure in that, right? You find that very rewarding. I know that when I have $20 in my purse or $30 in my purse, I'm like, at any given time, it makes me feel good. You know, I don't know about you, but knowing that there's always cash in my purse, that makes me feel good. It makes me feel like there's safety and peace because I have money to go to, right? So it says gold in your purse, having money in your purse is pleasing, it's gratifying to own and satisfies a miserly soul, but earns nothing. But nothing happens. It's just what you got in there, right? It says the gold we may retain from our earnings is but the start. The earnings it will make shall build our fortunes. So spoke our God upon the third day of his class. Okay, but he's saying that the earnings that you need to earn something from it because that's what's going to continue to build the wealth, at least a lot faster. How therefore may we put our gold to work? So I'm sure I'm asking myself the same questions. You might be asking, well, what do you mean? How can we make our money work for us? My first investment was unfortunate, for I lost all. Its tale I will relate later. My first profitable investment was a loan I made to a man named Agar, a shield maker. Once each year did he buy large shipments of bronze, brought from across the sea to use in his trade. Lacking sufficient capital to pay the merchants, he would borrow from those who had extra coins. He was an honorable man. His borrowing he would repay, together with a liberal rental as he sold his shield. So, when you lend somebody money, that's what interest rates are. That's why when we borrow money from a credit card, we actually have to pay an interest rate. So the credit cards, they're making money off lending. That's their business. They make money off lending others, right, a loan. So that's what he started to do. He basically kind of began becoming a credit card, right? Each time I loaned to him, I loaned back also the rental he had paid to me. Therefore, not only did my capital increase, but its earnings likewise increased. Most gratifying was it to have these sums returned to my purse. So here he invested in lending others money with an interest rate. So he would actually get money, but yeah, it's catchy because you have to make sure that the person who borrows is or will repay, correct? I tell you, my students, a man's wealth is not in the coins he carries in his purse. It is in the income he builds. The golden stream that continually flows into his purse and keepeth it always bulging. That is what every man desires. That is what each one of thee desires, an income that continues to come, whether they work or travel. So this investment he found in letting others borrow money with an interest, that was his money was working for him. Okay, so that was one way that he did it, right? Great income I have acquired, so great that I am called a very rich man. My loans to Agar were my first training in profitable investment. Gaining wisdom from this experience, I extended my loans and investments as my capital increased, from a few sources at first, from many sources later. Flowed into my purse a golden stream of wealth, available for such wise uses as I should decide. Behold, from my humble earnings, I had begotten a horde of golden slaves. And remember, this was set back 3 to 4,000 years ago, when slavery was very common. Okay, each laboring and earning more gold. As they labored for me, so their children also labored, and their children's children, until great was the income from their combined efforts. Okay, let's keep going here. Gold increases rapidly when making reasonable earnings, as thou wilt see from the following. Okay, ready? A farmer, when his first son was born, took 10 pieces of silver to a money lender and asked him to keep it on rental for his son until he became 20 years of age. So basically he invested, right? He let a lender borrow money, and he rented the money. That means he was going to get interest rate from it for 20 years, okay? Until the son became 20 years of age. And we can do the same thing nowadays, right? When you go to a bank or a money lending company, and we invest in a money market account or some kind of CD, something that we lend the lender the money, but we receive an interest rate. So the money is working for us because when we put the money there, it just keeps growing and growing and growing, and you're not even doing anything. Well, he put in a plan for 20 years, okay? This the money lender did, and agreed the rental should be 1/4 of its value each 4 years. The farmer asked, because this sum he had set aside as belonging to his son, that the rental be added to the principal. When the boy had reached the age of 20 years, the farmer again went to the moneylender to inquire about the silver. The moneylender explained that because this sum had been increased by compound interest, the original 10 pieces of silver had now grown to 30 1/2 pieces. So he earned 3 times the amount. Okay? The farmer was well pleased, and because the son did not need the coins, he left them with the money lender. When the son became 50 years of age, the father, meantime, having passed to the other world, the money lender paid the son in settlement 167 pieces of silver. Okay, you see an example of how that money worked for him. Thus, in 50 years, had the investment multiplied itself at rental almost 17 times. Thus, it says, this then is the third cure for a lean purse, to put each coin to laboring that it may reproduce its kind, even as the flocks of the field, and help bring to the income a stream of wealth that thou shalt flow constantly into thy purse. So, the third cure is make thy gold multiply. What does make thy gold multiply means? What does it mean? It means that your money works for you. You gain an interest, you gain a percentage by lending to a money lender, such as a money market account or whatever situation that you discuss. But you lend that to a money lender, bank in this case, or there's different companies for that, and you get an interest rate from that. And as years pass, it just keeps growing. It just keeps growing and growing. Okay, so you make thy money work for you. So I've said the 3 cures to a lean purse. All right. I will send an assignment in a few, and I may give you a few vocabulary words, and I want you to explain what each what is it cure for a lean purse, and of course the last one. Take care.